there, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the news desk of NTA Channel 5 Abuja at 1. My name is Tessie Omeri. FCT Minister of State Ramotu Tijani Aliu joins over 350 orphans and vulnerable children to celebrate the 2022 Democracy Day as part of activities lined up by the FCT administration. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports that 47 registered orphanages across the 6 area councils attended the ceremony held at the Guako Orphanage in Gwagwalada, where the issue of their welfare and sense of belonging were given priority.
While reassuring the children that despite the demands of office, the administration, through the Social Development Secretariat, has reached out to vulnerable children in the territory, while encouraging the children to pray fervently for Nigeria in view of the forthcoming general elections next year.
While I urge you all to continue to be law-abiding, resilient and committed to living in your homes, within the entrenched rules and regulations, I want to especially encourage you to always worship God, pray for yourselves and our leaders. Most importantly, pray for peace of the country.
Permanent Secretary FCTA Olushade Adeshola, represented by the Director of Human Resources Mohammed Bashir, said the singular act of hanging out with orphans re-established the already known motherly, passionate and ever-caring attribute of the Minister of State.
I want to join everybody to celebrate and pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless her and keep her in good health as she continues to grow politically for the benefit of everybody.
Secretary FCTA Social Development Secretariat Hadiza Kabir noted that children, no matter the circumstances of their birth, are heritage from God Almighty, adding that they are a source of joy to parents and the hope for future generations.
As you are here to join our mother in identifying and rejoice with these little ones, let us make it a point of duty to always create time to visit such homes as these to put smile and revive hope in them.
High point was the cutting of the 52nd anniversary birthday cake of the FCT Minister of State, Ramotu Tijani Aliu, and dance competition among the vulnerable children. Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
A day after the inauguration of elected area council chairmen, who in turn have inaugurated their councillors, the chairmen have begun their work without further delay. This is in tandem with the advice given to them by the FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, who charged them during the inauguration to focus on good governance that will fulfill the yearnings and aspirations of the electorate, especially now that the electioneering period is over. Onoze Yakubu tells us more.
Those dotted lines being read after Justice Suleiman Belgori is the oath of office by the newly elected area council chairman and their vice. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello urged them to reflect on the oath taken and chart a way forward towards providing dividends of democracy for the people at the grassroots, as the area council is the closest to the people.
The words you signed today are very weighty. If I were you, I will go for the basics. I will tackle primary education. I will tackle healthcare, primary healthcare. I will tackle sanitation. I'm telling you, even if, and I will tackle insecurity. And whoever you are among you, all of you, you can't do anything on insecurity or security of your community unless you relate with your elders.
So much expectation from us, and inshallah with prayers, with their support, we'll make them proud.
Out of the 6 area council chairmen inaugurated, 4 will be serving their second term, while 2 from Amak and Abaji area councils will be serving their first term in office. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And join me in the studio at this time to talk more on the inauguration of Area Council Chairman is the Chief Executive and Founder, Connected Development Code, Hamzat Lawal. You're welcome to the news at 1.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. The Area Council Chairman have been sworn in after a legal tussle you would agree with me, it lingered for a while. So what's your opinion about all this?
Well, I think that the legal tussle is because of the gap in our politics, particularly internal party democracy, and the fact that we don't allow the rule of law and wanting to interfere with the mandate of the people. Because, judiciary, as much as is the last call for ordinary Nigerian, if we do the right thing, no one has to be aggrieved and no one has to approach the bench. But I think that it's quite encouraging that this is now behind us and we have inaugurated and they've sworn into office the new elected chairman into office. But I also think there's still a constitutional crisis that is lingering because we've not yet agreed as a people. Even if the law is clear and has stated that 3 years, but then there's still that interpretation that the Supreme Court has to tell the Nigerian people. Is it going to be 3 years term or 4 years? Every elected office in Nigeria is usually 4 years, but that of local government and area council have remained 3 years. And we've seen interference in the states where executive governors will just dissolve, local government and appoint administrators. I know that the FCT minister likes to follow due process and he abides by the rule of law because he could have also appointed administrators, but he said no, let the will of the people prevail. But importantly, the Supreme Court needs to come in and interpret this law so that we won't have any crisis in the future.
Okay. And now, what is expected of this chairman having been sworn in? I could see, the excitement, the jubilation, and all the area councils are, visited and all that. So what is expected so that their impact can actually be felt?
I know that we observed during all their outreaches and town hall meetings, and they made a lot of promises. There's three key areas that I really want them to focus in. One is the taxes. Today, the FCT people suffer double taxation. There's so many taxes, particularly for small businesses and even people who have, small kiosks. They need to be clear on a unified taxing system. So they need to sit with the FCT minister and agree on some level of taxes with, FCT IRS, so that we don't have multiple tax agents come and harass people. So let them be a unified system where the collection is just one way and then they distribute among themselves. That's the first. Second, I want them to invest heavily in internal security because the government of the day is saying, let's do community policing. But for we to achieve community policing, this newly inaugurated area council chairman needs to work with traditional and religious institutions, particularly the traditional institution, because they're big in the FCT. We know the role of the chiefs and the emirs in the FCT, and they need to work closely with them so we can tackle internal security and really implement community policing where every citizen would feel confident to come forward to share information that would help avert any crisis. Lastly, is investing in young people. The youth of FCT are unemployed, so they need to invest in human capital development. Let them provide small loan, grants, and support to these young people. Train them, give them resources to start up businesses, and create a framework where young people that are graduates can get employed and also employ the other workforce. Because today you have so many young people and who are indigenous young people who are roaming the streets of the FCT.
Yeah, it's all about setting agendas for them, and I can see you have pointed out quite a number of them already. Your NGO code is known for going to the grassroots. So with maybe your observations over time, what would you say the people are in dire need of?
Water. The FCT is suffering from water. And when I say the FCT, I mean the satellite areas. When you go into those communities around Buhari, Kuje, Gwagwalada, even around Amake, you have some villages. They don't have potable drinking water. They still drink from the stream. And that's why sometimes you see we have outbreak of cholera. So they need to invest to provide quality potable drinking water. And there are technologies they can use, solar power technologies that is green. So in this area council, they need to also build more primary school because the population is exploding in the FCT. So we need our children to be in a safer environment so the girls can go to school, and even when they're on their period, there's perimeter fencing, there's water, and there are quality teachers. Yes, they need to invest in quality teaching because these are the people that will transfer knowledge to the future of Nigeria and the future of the FCT.
You talked about some the agendas, and you mentioned the idea how to generate revenue. So what's your advice exploiting those loopholes that are yet to be tapped?
I think we need to agree on a regime of administration around our markets and our motor parks, because that's some of the places where they get revenue from, and some of the shopping complex. So how can we ensure that, because right now we know there are leakages and there are gaps, but we need to agree on a regime where we have where there's an appointed administrator that oversees what happened in the motor park, working with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. We need to also see who, administers the marketplace, working with the union in the market, so that when you're selling tickets, this ticket is coming either from the FCT administration or for the area council, and then this resources goes to the, to a singular account, and then it is disbursed, and then we can use it for projects, capital projects, and recurrent expenditure. I think that what is big for this new administration is to show transparency and accountability and work closely with civil society, because we're always here to partner, we're always here to support them and help them build more trust amongst the people. And speaking about the people, I'm also particular about the indigenous people. Over time, they've been marginalized. And in all the states, you have House of Assembly, but in the FCT, there is no House of Assembly. But I think the area council, if they can carry everyone along, then this marginalization and this agitation would be less. And it's important to carry the indigenous people, because they've been displaced and marginalized over the years in the FCT.
Okay, so now from all your observations and findings over time, do you envisage any challenge, and how do you think can be surmounted?
I think for me, one of the biggest challenge might be political, particularly in Amak, because I'm a tenant in Amak. Yeah, we're all tenants in Amak. This is Amak. And for me, Amak is important because it's where we have the seat of power. But when you look at it politically, the person who is now the area council chairman is from the opposition party. So I think that what is important for our political leaders is to put away politics, because now they've been inaugurated and sworn into office. So it's governance. And I had the minister charging them. So I'm glad that the minister is not even looking at party lines, because he's in the ruling party. So I implore the AMAC chairman not to toe the path of party line. Let him toe the path of governance and ensure that he, as our leader in this area council, sees everyone as equal and treats everyone as equal.
Okay, thank you so much, Hamza Lawal, for sharing your thoughts with us on the News at 1.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This is the News at 1 on NTA Channel 5, Abuja. The news continues after this break. Stay tuned.
The immediate cause of the latest queues in Abuja remains unknown.
Conceived with the intent to ease the flow of traffic in the nation's capital.
Whichever way it turns out, either to consolidate on the existing mandate or institute a new dispensation.
Located within the Abuja Municipal Area Council, AMAC.
How much do people know about ADR?
Are charting a path to having more youth participate in governance, in addition to building young entrepreneurs.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory are calling on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, look into the situation.
You have to strike a balance to have a future that you don't have to regret.
Like experts say, what kills really is fear.
In Abuja,
NTA News. NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station, is introducing The Globe this week, a foreign news segment as part of its news bulletin every Thursday. The Globe this week offers a unique perspective on the most pressing issues that make headlines globally. Watch NTA Channel 5 Abuja News every Thursday at 1 p.m. and remain connected globally.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Welcome back. And now to security issues. The Federal Capital Territory has been in the eye of the storm in the last couple of weeks with the recurrent security challenges. How has the police and sister security agencies responded to these developments, and what are the people's reactions? As A.B. Williams tells us more.
Kidnapping and banditry are very much rife in area councils on the Abuja south axis of the nation's capital. This is evident with the fear and apprehension which greeted residents of Zone A Ungwan Grade A extension of Kuje recently, as armed bandits and kidnappers stormed the community to abduct an 18-year-old, having father injured in the process.
They wage the war first to enter through the
the compound. After that, they now come to the door and destroy the door to come in.
Commercial motorcycle operation has been banned by FCTA, but the evidence speaks otherwise. Other road users and commuters on a daily basis are at the mercy of these men with lives threatened by them effortlessly. Just yesterday, chaos broke out at Area 1 roundabout near Corn Oil, where some miscreants who were fighting themselves destroyed some cars in the process as commuters had to trek long distance for the fear of the unknown.
I was coming from Abuja. I saw a group of people. They told us that we should turn back. We're going back to Abuja, that there's a problem in Area 1 here. So when I come down from the cab, I looked down, I saw a group of people fighting, damaging people's car. So I have to run, find my way. No, I don't know, but some people say Area 1 boys.
Just everywhere was stopped. And everybody was, the car was relaxing. I have to come back with the car to come. There was crowd everywhere. So everybody has to see the government.
To all of these, people say they expect prompt response to distress call, enhance police public relationship, as well as take more proactive policing measures to curb the menace. With special operations across the territory to combat security challenges, experts advise that more attention should be focused on intelligence gathering. In Abuja, Asabe Williams, NTA News.
The FCT Police Command says that its fight against bad eggs in the system must be won so as to achieve that positive police-public relationship to enhance confidence. Our correspondent reports that the second-in-command of the PPRO FC, Oduni Omotayo, stated this while responding to questions on the weekly security program called The Police.
The second-in-command of the PPRO FCT, Oduni Omotayo, who admitted that there are bad eggs, however, gave breakdown of efforts so far to rid the force of such bad eggs.
The Complaint Response Unit was created in 2015. So far, it has recorded 14,976 cases. Okay. It has resolved 11,567 cases. It has disciplined 258 officers, just disciplined, like minor discipline.
Yeah,
it has, yes, it has dismissed 31 police officers. So
these records, the force is on a pedestal of bringing back the police-public relationship where the public can have confidence in the police force.
Most times people do not relay information properly. Okay. Yeah, so we have come up with a particular caption, we call it CAP. Information relayed to the police has to be concise. It has to be brief. Information has to be accurate. People lie a lot.
He calls on the public to desist from spreading fake news as it has contributed in creating tension where not necessary. Callers on the program commended the efforts of the police, but however calls for prompt response to distress calls to save more lives and property.
In order to ensure a hitch-free 2022 Christian pilgrimage, the FCT Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board has sensitized intending pilgrims from the nation's capital city to the Kingdom of Jordan. The board, led by Director Audu Dabara, advised the intending pilgrims not to disgrace the country. Rather, they should pray for lasting peace and unity of the nation. This was during preparation of activities for airlifting of FCT intending pilgrims to the Holy Land. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
Pilgrimage to the Holy Land is an annual exercise which is aimed at deepening the spirituality of the Christian faithful and helping them also know the biblical requirements and the things that are there. When they visit these places, they see the Bible site live. The FCT Christian Association of Nigeria Chairman Samson Jonah and the Director, FCT Christian Pilgrims Welfare Board, Audu Dabara, said, beside that, it is a moment of spiritual upliftment.
We are going there ultimately to pray, to ask God for the healing of this nation, and especially the season we're in, the period of election. 2023 is around the corner. A lot of permutation, a lot of issues rising here and there. We want to pray that God helping us, Nigeria will remain indivisible entity. Election will come and go, and by the grace of God, we shall conquer and overcome.
We also intend at this point to let the pilgrims be made to understand what they are in terms of their health by some small body vitals, health vitals, taken by our doctors that are supposed to embark on the trip with us. This is important because leaving the land we belong to into a strange land where there is a change in the weather conditions, our bodies may yield to those changes.
The intended pilgrims say it has been a long expectation for them to visit the Holy Land.
It's for me to just go and see for myself and increase my spiritual exercise, to just go see the things of God and rebuild. I know where I'm making mistakes and where I need to correct. Be spiritually, doubt the more.
Going on Christian pilgrimage connotes devotion and dedication to one's belief without being compelled. The airlift will commence Wednesday, 15th June 2022. In Abuja, Ifani Izumba, NTA News.
And available information from the United Nations indicates that globally, abuse and neglect of older persons is largely under-recognized or treated as an unspoken problem. Chidima Anson Agomo in this report examines best ways to address the problem.
World Elder Abuse Awareness Day is to raise awareness on socio-economic and cultural abuse of elderly, with the aim of arresting what constitutes elder abuse and how it can be prevented. Observers say there is need to encourage closer and positive contact between the elderly and the young minds to reduce social isolation and neglect.
Recently, we discover that the elderly are ignored. Nobody wants to take care of them. Even their children don't want to go home.
It is largely believed that lack of adequate care of the aged is most time what is responsible for growing numbers of old people begging on the streets, as many youths have abandoned their parents in the village and trooped to the cities in search of jobs.
We have challenges for the sickness. You've been going hospital, but these days you're feeling better now.
Another factor responsible for the plight of old people is the delay in payment of pensions, gratuity, and industries that have laid off staff. Founder Post Old People's Home, Umar Gambo Jubril, as part of activities to mark the day, distributed items worth hundreds of naira to old people in Mabushi community.
We are advocating, we are also appealing that elderly people in Nigeria should be given the proper attention. They should also try and make it mandatory that people around them bring to fore any challenges they have so that they can get help. And we are also appealing for the government to put in place those policies that will alleviate their suffering. Things like hospitals, like healthcare centers. Like in this community now, I cannot identify any healthcare center. Therefore, if they are ill, they have to be taken outside this community, which of course, if they don't have good mode of transportation and they don't have maybe ambulances, it's very, very difficult.
There is also a spiritual aspect of it. I quote, "Honor your father and your mother, so your days will be long." Chidima Anson Agomo, NTA News.
Findings show that several Nigerians across the Federal Capital Territory are currently witnessing epileptic power supply, the situation not helped by the lingering fuel scarcity. Aisha Bashir reports that the blackout in parts of the city have left many residents counting their losses.
Sometime in March this year, the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company put out a statement informing customers in Kogi, Niger, Nasarawa and the FCT that the current low and unstable supply of electricity to homes and businesses is as a result of low power generated to the national grid. However, in recent weeks, the level of power generated and served to the nation grid for onward transmission to customers has been very low, a development that led to load shedding, which had disrupted businesses, affected livelihoods, and caused many untold hardship.
The TCN, which is the Transmission Company of Nigeria, there will always be this kind of trade blames between the GenSco, that is the generator, the transmission, and the distribution. But the main point we could actually take home here is that the distributions are those responsible to me and you, the shop owners, the residentials. You go there, you ask them for bills at the end of the month. So you owe them by law the responsibility to ensure that you give them supply to enable you take bills from them.
Efforts to get response from the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company was not successful, but this resident laments that he is forced to pay exorbitant bills for darkness.
It's high time we stop paying for darkness. We have been paying for darkness for a long time. So this has to stop. So we have them to, please, you can't share bill. And if you look at the bill also, it keeps increasing on a monthly basis. You increase the bill, and the supply is not there, but you keep increasing the bill.
Like yesterday, they brought the lights 3 minutes to 3, and they took the light 5 minutes after 3 a.m. 3 minutes to 3 a.m. 5 minutes after 3 a.m. That's 8 minutes for the full day. They gave us light for 8 minutes, and you are bringing bill of 18 to 19,000 as a current charge for a tenant to pay for what he don't use.
Others say that it is worrisome for the government to allow the discos to raise electricity tariffs amid dwindling power supply witnessed by consumers across the country, and urged for urgent intervention to reverse the situation. Aisha Bashir, NTA News.
And let's join our sports desk for Sports Brief with Benedicta Inya on standby.
The Nigeria Under-17 team made it to the last four of the Wafo tournament with a convincing 3-1 victory over the Junior Perry Hawks of Togo on Tuesday. The coach Mbaka Mbade boys have so far secured 6 maximum points from 2 matches in the 3-team pool and will be hoping to reach the final of the tournament. Meanwhile, former Arsenal striker Joe Campbell scored after 3 minutes for Costa Rica as he squeezed between 2 defenders to touch home a square pass from Jerison Bennett, with the New Zealand defense slow to react. In volleyball, Ugoano debuted and leads Italian comeback against Serbia. The Italian star scored 21 points on her first appearance in the Volleyball Nations League 2022 tournament after a discreet performance in the opening set of the duel between Italy and Serbia. In tennis, 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams will make an unexpected return to the tennis court as she has revealed that she will play at Wimbledon. Williams has not played a tournament in almost a year since suffering a leg injury in last year's Wimbledon outing. With Sport Brief, Benedicta Inya, NTA News.
And that's it on the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. We thank you for watching. More reports at 7. Bye for now.